What's up guys, welcome back to the vlog. This is my Honda Shadow VT 750 and if you have a keen eye, you'll notice that there's something different about it. That's right, this is the stock exhaust. So over the past few days, I've been working towards getting this bike roadworthied and registered and plated. And it is now ready to run and all good to go. So today we're going to do a short video on the steps that I took to get the bike from this to this. And how much it cost me. But first, let's take it for a little ride. Alright, before we get into it guys, I bought a new helmet. This is just a simple white open face helmet. I really like it. It's especially when the weather's nice and open face, you get the wind in your face. So I've been really enjoying this. And I think you look a bit weird if you're on a cruiser bike. You've got a full face helmet, I think. So this just recently came into the mail. It's a visor which I ordered. It was like 15 bucks off eBay. This can just clip straight onto the helmet, but there's also this thing which allows you to flip the visor up and down. So I think I'll install that. And so now the helmet looks like this. I'm interested to see like how much wind goes into it. Pretty cool. How's it look? Do I look like an astronaut? So you can get these visors in like mirror finish or like a whole bunch of different finishes. I figured I'd just start off with the orange one because it's high vis and you can use it during the daytime and the nighttime. And it was 15 bucks, so it's a good way to accessorize. Anyways, let's take the Shadow down the road and we'll talk numbers. It sounds so different, doesn't it? It's much more quieter. I'm not sure if it really, like, if you can tell through the camera, but it is so much more quieter. When I'm riding and when I'm idling, I can't even hear it. It's actually crazy. And I like it, but I also see why people would want to open up the pipes and make it a little bit louder. Anyways, let's talk numbers. Alright guys, I've done the maths. I feel rude wearing sunnies. So, let's talk costs. I bought the bike for $3,800. This is a 2005 Honda Shadow 750cc's in great condition, practically brand new. And it had 34,000 kilometers on the clock, which for a motorcycle and for a Honda is nothing. It's a baby bike. The reason why I got it for so cheap was because the previous owner was a CEO of this big company and this was his joyride. He unfortunately passed away 2 years ago and his PA was tasked with getting rid of the bike. So in those 2 years, this bike was just sitting in the warehouse collecting dust. So she just wanted it gone and hence the really low price. When I saw the ad, I thought it was $3,000, well, it was for $4,000. I assumed that rego was included, which is a really annoying part because this bike was registered for another 6 months. But they had their own reasons which didn't really make sense, to be honest. They wanted to sell the bike without registration because they thought it would be easier for them. I went through the process. I filled out a form for them already and I said, look, you just have to sign this form and I'll deal with the rest of it. It's actually not that difficult to keep the rego, but they wanted to, they wanted to sell it without rego, which is really annoying, but that's okay. So $3,800, the bike as is, no roadworthy, no rego. Now, obviously, when I bought the bike, it had its aftermarket exhaust, Vance & Hines exhausts. In order to get a roadworthy, your bike needs to have a stock exhaust. Now, I had a few options. It's not impossible to get a roadworthy with an aftermarket exhaust. Let's just say that, okay? But the fact that I bought the bike unregistered, the process is a little bit different. You have to take it to, first you have to get a roadworthy, and then you have to take it to Vic Roads and they do a secondary inspection, which is what happened this morning. And they were very thorough. they were very thorough with the bike. They were looking all over it. They had like little flashlights and they were inspecting every part of it. So because I needed to register the bike and because it was going through another inspection with Vic Roads, I basically had to get the stock exhaust, which is the next piece of the puzzle. So, as I said, there's ways around the whole exhaust thing. I found a few people who have stock exhausts and they're willing to either trade my aftermarket exhaust for the stock exhaust or lend it out to me. I was really lucky because I found a mechanic in Dandenong called Global Motorcycles, and they offered to do the roadworthy for me and lend me this stock exhaust at a premium, of course. Roadworthy is $160. They lend out the exhaust for $150, and then I have to pay the mechanics for their labor. So in total, I paid $440 to get the bike roadworthied and borrow their exhaust. And then next week, I'm gonna take the bike back and get them to switch it out again. So that's another $120 on top. So I guess in total, roadworthy cost me $560. Yikes. So this was a cost which I wasn't expecting. On top of that, I have to book an appointment with Vic Roads to get it plated. So the booking fee was $50. And during that time, obviously I'm riding the bike around without a plate. So I needed to get a riding permit for a week, which was another $50. And then I actually have to take it to Vic Roads. So with Vic Roads, I got the bike plated with 6 months rego on top of it, and then paid the stamp duty fees and all that stuff. That cost me $600, which is more than I thought. But at the same time, I'm not too surprised. I was going to go for a full 12 months rego, but that was close to $1,000. So yeah, I think because the bike is 750 cc's, it's technically a large displacement bike. The rego is a lot more expensive. So in total, what I've spent so far on this bike, from buying the bike itself and jumping through all the hoops to get it roadworthied and ready to ride, grand total is $5,060. I guess the question is, was it worth it? Was it worth $5,060 to get this bike? I'm gonna say yes. Normally when you buy a motorcycle, it doesn't come with roadworthy or rego. And with that in mind, a bike like this on the market right now, especially with the Vance & Hines exhaust, I can see it being sold for upwards of $7,500. So despite buying this bike for a steal, having this bike ready to run on the road for $5,000, I think is pretty good. $5,000 with roadworthy and 6 months of rego. So my plans for this bike. When I first got this bike, when I first rode it back, I hated it. Which was weird. Like I actually really liked it when I was test riding it, but then when I rode it back home during peak hour traffic with the loud exhaust, I absolutely hated it. And my first thought was, holy crap, what have I done? How can I sell this bike? which is not a good thought to have on day one of buying the bike. But in saying that, after riding this bike for a bit, I think the more I ride this bike, the more I'll like it. But at the same time, it's not really my style of bike. So what I'm gonna do with this bike is, it's gonna be my everyday ride, but I'm gonna put it up for sale. And I think that was originally the goal. I think if I can make an extra $2,000 on top of this and sell it for at least $7,000, I think I'll be pretty happy. It's a great bike, don't get me wrong. It's an awesome bike. It's been a great experience riding this bike. I've always been curious about cruisers because it's just so different. A lot of people say that this bike suits me, but I don't know, it's just, I think this bike has taught me that yes, speed and power is good, but I think I prefer the riding experience when I've got a bit more maneuverability, it's a bit lighter, it's a bit more zippier. I think that's what I like in a bike. So with all that said and done, I'm gonna put this back onto the market and I'm gonna try and sell it. I'll start off with like $7,500 for a bike, including roadworthy, including 6 months of rego. Just right out the door, take it and ride it. I'm gonna start with $7,500 and go from there. Because I'm treating this as an experience. I'm treating this as an opportunity for me to try out different bikes. With all that said and done, guys, let me know your thoughts. Do you think this bike is worth $5,000 in total? Would you ride a bike like this? And let me know if you want to buy it.